All right, this is Jeff Zimmerman with FightNews.com. I've got the pound for pound king, Terence Bud Crawford, back in the ring December 10th on BLK Prime against David Avanesyan. How you doing, Bud?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hey, man, before we get into the fight and everything going on, I don't know if you saw the tweet from Regis this morning about not getting paid. What were your initial thoughts? Because I know you got 5 million in the bank already.
Hey, that's not cool at all. Uh, he go out there and do his job and don't get paid. It's kind of disappointing. For whoever was behind making sure he get paid. Um, didn't make sure that the check cleared.
Yeah, and you're good though going into your fight coming up. You've already got money in the bank.
Oh, of course, of course.
Good deal. Well, let's talk about your fight. Obviously, the mega fight that everybody in the boxing world, fell apart, I guess, maybe at the last minute, but we're not here to talk about that. You got a guy ranked number 6, WBO, David Avanesyan. I talked to him the other day. His confidence is riding sky high. You're his money fight. How do you stay motivated for a guy who's essentially a lesser known opponent?
Well, just because he's a lesser known opponent doesn't mean he's not dangerous. Doesn't mean he doesn't belong um in a like he doesn't belong in the ring with the top welterweights. So I don't look at just because he don't have a big name as in if he's not dangerous. I know he's dangerous. I know he got skills. I know, he's coming to take my head off. He's coming to dethrone me. He's coming with, a lot of passion and will and desire to overthrow me. But it's my job to stay focused, train hard, and make sure none of that happens come December 10th.
Now, obviously, he's been in the ring, this, with Sugar Shane Mosley, Hall of Famer, Lamont Peterson, and a like opponent in Mean Machine. So what have you seen about him that may pose a threat?
Well, pretty much nothing really. He can box. He's strong. He's durable. He can counter. So it may be a chess match, or it may be a slugfest. But at the same time, we prepare for whatever he brings in to come to December 10th. We prepare for it all. So we know what he's capable of, and we're gonna exploit his things that he does wrong in there.
Last time I saw you in Dallas, it was before one of the Virgil Ortiz fights over the summer, and you were at the UFC fight with Pena and Nunes, and we talked about that a little bit. Obviously, you're a big fan of the sport, and now you've got one of the MMA legends, Cris Cyborg, as your co-main. How did that come about?
Oh man, so she was gonna fight on an undercard, and they had asked me, what I think, and I'm not opposed to anyone, fighting on my card, so I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. She got her own fan base. She got a big name in the sport of MMA, and it can transition over to boxing. So why not? Good
Yeah,
for.
and I'm sorry, what was?
I said it's good for entertainment.
Yeah, and I talked to her yesterday, and she's super excited to be on your card, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But listen, man, obviously, the Spence fight not happening, and you guys have always had a friendly rival, it seems, a lot of mutual respect, although you take jabs at each other. But there's a guy that Spence is really close to that it seems a little bit more personal in Jermell Charlo. He came out on IG, as you know, recently, said you're scared of Spence, you need the money, him and his brother, and Spence kind of made your name. What do you say to all that?
Something is wrong with that dude. He got to stay off of whatever he on, because if I can recall, I was already a 2-time world champion. before he was even a champion, both of them. You know, so how somebody piggyback off of my name when I was already, you know, the man? I don't understand that. I was already on the pound for pound list. I was already, you know, in talks to, you know, being the next best thing since Mayweather retired. So I don't understand. I ain't never heard of his name being in the talks of any of that sort of anything. So how can I, you know, be piggybacking off of him and his brother name when I've accomplished way more than them in the sport of boxing? That don't even make sense.
Now, you have stated, I've heard that you feel like, and I know you would want him if that Spencer, fight occurred right after you told me that over the summer. How badly would you like to get in the ring with him and, shut him up, so to speak, and take his belts?
I already said it. I already said it. I would love to get in the ring and shut him up, you know, because only thing he gonna do is cry afterwards, you know. That's all he do is run around yelling, angry, and mad at himself. But at the end of the day, you know, my main focus is on David right now. So I really don't care what, you know, anybody else had to say to me right about now.
Now, obviously the Spence, may get looked at again after this fight. I know you've stated that publicly or on some different shows, but there's a guy here in Fort Worth, as you know, you've been to his fights, itching to get in the ring with you. I know you're not scared. You're not scared of King Kong. You're not scared of anybody in Virgil Ortiz Jr. How possible is that fight if the Spence fight perhaps gets delayed again?
Oh, it's very possible. He's the number one contender. He's my mandatory. So of course that's a very likable and possible fight to be made as well.
Is there a reason why David was chosen before Virgil? To your point that he was number one in your weight class?
I have no idea. The names just came across the table and I just said yes to it.
Now, listen, man, I know you got your boxing academy up in Omaha, and one of these days I want to get out there and visit it. And you're such a mentor for a lot of these young guys and even older guys like Steven Nelson. I've had some talks with him, and I know you guys go way back, et cetera. But Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn are two guys that you've really taken under your wing. What is it about those guys that just kind of bring it out of you, just in the ring and out of the ring?
Well, you're talking about two talented young fighters that got the heart and the desire and the will to become great, you know, and Keyshawn and Shakur, they grew up together, you know, Keyshawn, you know, growing up under Shakur when he was living in Virginia, and they sparring and competing against each other. And then as they got older, you know, I'm sparring them and I'm teaching them little things, and they keeping me sharp because, you know, once you get to a certain point in a professional uh professional standpoint, you know, everything kind of slows down because you got 12 rounds. But then here you go, you know, you got two young kids coming out of the Olympics, and you know everything is fast with them. Everything is fast paced. So you know they keep you sharp. They keep you, you know, what I mean, honest. And as they grow and get stronger, and you know, fill in with the professional style, you know, they start testing you mentally, not physically. They start testing you mentally because not only, you know, is they bringing the speed and the reflexes and the athleticism, you know, they bring in the smarts now as well. So, you know, it's great for all around, both of us, all three of us, I would say.
And you're an old head now, and so I would imagine they really look up to you and take that advice.
Oh, of course, you know, I'm a student as well, you know, so you know, you got to take it in, give it. You know, sometimes they give me advice. You know, sometimes they'll see something that I'm not doing and they'll shout out, hey, what you doing? Let's tighten up. So iron sharpens iron.
You've said that Shakur is the next pound for pound great in boxing, and he actually does some things better than you at this stage. Can you elaborate on what those things might be?
Oh, of course. I feel like Shakur, his reflexes, his boxing ability, is on a whole another level. I feel like, his mental, him outthinking the opponent is on another level. So I just think that's gonna take him to the next level, and ain't nobody gonna beat him for, years to come, if not ever.
So between 135, 140 right now, in your view, he's the guy to beat.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So we'll wrap it up here in a minute, but Jeff Zimmerman, FightNews.com. I'm with the pound for pound king, Terence Bud Crawford. Big fight December 10th against David Avanesyan. There's another big fight that just got announced. Obviously on the heels of your fight with Spence not happening, Tank and King Rai. What are your thoughts on that fight, and who do you like?
Oh man, it's gonna be a great fight. I feel like you got two explosive fighters and Tank and Ryan. I feel like Tank holds the power edge in that fight, but you can't count out Ryan. He got a powerful left hook. He's tall, he's fast, both of them fast, but Ryan's rangy. So when you look at it, you say, okay, Tank by knockout, Ryan by decision. So that's what everybody is looking at. If Ryan can now work Tank and stay on the outside, then he can pull out a victory. If Tank get close to Ryan and land those explosive shots that we normally see him land on every fighter, then Tank will get the knockout. So it's gonna be a great fight to watch.
And one more fight, Benavidez Plant.
That's gonna be a tough fight for both. I feel like Benavidez is the bigger, stronger fighter in that fight. I feel like he got great hand speed. I feel like he's not going to be able to box on the outside with Plant. So I feel like he's going to try to oppose his will and make it a fight, a dog fight, and walk him down. But at the same time, Plant, his boxing skills is great, and he's always in shape. He's always prepared, and I feel like him, being smart, he can get the job done as well. So I got that as a 50-50 fight.
50-50 fight. There you go. What should we expect, Bud, on December 10th back home in Omaha?
Fireworks. Fireworks. I feel like this is a fight that he's gonna come and try to oppose his will on me. I feel like he's gonna try to give it his all, and that's gonna make for a great fight.
All right, you heard it here from the pound for pound king, Terence Bud Crawford, back in the ring. It's been a little bit of time. December 10th in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska, against David Avanesyan on BLK Prime, and tickets are sold out, I believe, right, at the arena?
Tickets been selling like crazy.
There you go. So catch him on BLK Prime, and then hopefully next year we'll see you in some of those big fights that the world's been waiting for. Appreciate the time, Bud.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.